Guys, my name is Coach Anthony. I've been a professional boxing teacher for over a decade. I've worked with numerous world-rated professional boxers, world champion boxers, and even amateurs at the Olympic level. Over the years, I've created courses that are going to help you improve in different areas of your boxing, where I teach boxing fundamentals and I teach tactics and I get in depth. Guys, there's going to be a link somewhere on the screen. I want you guys to click it because I'm giving a special offer. I need you guys to invest into yourself. You don't have to walk this boxing journey alone, guys. I'm here to help you, and that's what I really want to do. So click on the link, go ahead, invest into yourself, and learn how to box and stop trying to figure this out on your own. Boxing life. Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? What's going on, man? We just watched Vasily Lomachenko versus Richard Commey. You know, I had to hop on here real quick, chop it up with you guys for a few minutes, talk about the fight. I hope everybody's doing well. You know what I mean? I definitely appreciate you guys, and I hope everybody is good. Of course, you know, I got the CA Holla deals right now on the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. My bad, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. If you're watching this late, that sale will still be on there. If you're live, take advantage of this, guys. It won't last much longer. You know, the time is starting to tick on that. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's participated. And of course, the real reason I came on here was just to say what's up to everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. I want to hear some of your reactions. Did anybody watch Lomachenko fight tonight? You know what I'm saying? Is Lomachenko still of interest to you guys? He had a nice he had a nice little performance tonight. He fought very well. I thought he did, at least. You know, he did a lot of good things. Lomachenko has a way of spinning around his opponents very well, dropping the left-hand lead down the pipe. He creates angles very well. Something that we talk about in angles and how to create them. A lot of good moves, and it was a good fight, man. If you didn't see the fight, though, of course, it's all good, man. That doesn't mean you needed to watch the fight to pull up in here. But I definitely just wanted to say what's up to you guys and how's everybody doing. We got my boy Loso Jose. Yo, what's going on, champ? How's everybody doing? What's going on, Jose? Yo, what's going on, champ? What up, Enigma? How you doing, brother? How's everything, man? Nice to see you in here, man. Hey, coach, love your content, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Beyond your average reviews, Loma's the man. Yeah, Loma look very good, man. Loma look very, very good. What's up, Coach Simp? What's good, champ? Simp down. What's good, my boy? Drip. What's up, Coach? Love your videos, man. I appreciate that, man. You know, I dropped a couple of videos this week. If you guys haven't seen it, I dropped 2 instructional videos this week. I haven't been going live every day the way I was before. We was doing no days off November. But actually, I believe starting Tuesday, I think I'm going to do a countdown to Christmas, 12 days to Christmas, starting on Tuesday. So, guys, I'm doing a new one. It's called 12 Days to Christmas. It's going to start Tuesday. And I got something different for you guys. So I hope you guys are ready. We're going to do some different stuff. It's going to be very educational. So I need everybody to turn the notification icon, you know what I'm saying, the notification bell or whatever. Give me 1 second. My bad. I got ADHD, guys. I just be all over the place, man. But let me go ahead and handle this real quick. Quick little plug I'm about to do real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. I should have had this already prepared, but I got it. Give me 1 second. Okay. Boom. I'm back. Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Stick with me here. Stick with me here, guys. Okay, got that. 1 second. I'm almost there, y'all. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. 1 second, bro. Bet. Nah. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing countdown 12 days to Christmas starting on Tuesday. So guys, be on the lookout for that, man. I need you guys to go ahead, turn the bell notifications on because starting Tuesday, we about to go in. It's gonna be very similar to No Days Off November, man. We're gonna count it down, and there's gonna be some really cool things that we're gonna be doing for that. So I hope you guys are all here for that. Let's see here. Chinaman, man, his footwork is something else. Yeah, he has good footwork, champ. That's for sure. Red carpet. Coach, do you think Loma could have TKO'd if he didn't waste time talking to Comey's corner? It's hard to tell because Comey got a lot of heart. He showed that he was able to handle the shots even though he got buzzed. And I just thought that I thought that Comey just got a lot of heart, man, and it's hard to knock a guy out like that, a guy who's willing to fight through the fire. So I don't know. I don't know what Comey was willing to go through, you know what I'm saying, in that round. He obviously showed that he could finish the fight, even though he was quite hurt. He got hit with a couple of shots after that, that if he was really, really that hurt, he would have laid down there and he didn't. So it's very, very difficult to say. But what I will say is that Lomachenko dominated. He looked very good. He did a lot of good things. And you know, it was a good fight for him. Absolutely. I think it puts him right back in the mix. And there's some other good guys for him to fight. He obviously doesn't seem interested in Shakur Stevenson. He wants to stay at 135. He wants to unify the division. So let's see who he ends up fighting. And how do you counter Loma's style with constant turning and pivoting that he does? Well, I've been saying this for quite a while. You got to control the angles. You got to stop the angles. And I think that if you watch him when he fought Teofimo Lopez did a good job at that. He kept a good distance. He was cutting him off, throwing cutoff shots. If you got a guy who's constantly trying to spin this way, we got to cut him off. If you got a guy who's trying to get you this way, you got to cut him off. And if you watch when Teofimo Lopez fought Lomachenko, he kept his distance. He was very disciplined, and he had a really good way of just cutting off the angles, of preventing Loma from doing that little head slip. Loma likes to go like this and then spin around you off the slip. If you're an orthodox, well, I'm orthodox. If you're a southpaw, I'm doing it backwards. When he throws a jab, Loma likes to slip, let that jab slide over. Sometimes he'll throw the straight right hand or the straight left hand down the pipe. Other times he'll just slip and pivot. A lot of times he'll just drop that head feint on you just to see if you react. And then off of that, he'll drop the left hand lead and then he'll spin, throw the hook, and then he'll spin again. Lomachenko has some very crafty moves that are very good. And they're really southpaw moves in reality, or how to box the opposite stance moves. He does them very well. But the way you control that is by preventing him from wanting to do that slip over his lead leg. You see that he's constantly going this way. You got to give him something to make him not want to go this way. A lot of these fighters just stand in front of him and freeze up. And when they freeze up like this, because they're not sure if the left hand is coming straight down the pipe, that's where he gets you. So you have to keep a good distance. That's why Teofimo Lopez did so good, because he kept a good distance. So where if he did try to come in with the left-hand lead, Teofimo was far enough where he couldn't get caught with it. But since Teofimo has some good range on his shots, he can shoot his hooks from a little further away. So, I just gave you a lot of game right there, man. I just gave you a lot of game right there. Coach, you're my idol. Coach Guru, the myth, the legend. Appreciate the kind words, man. I really do, man. Y'all don't know how much y'all mean to me, man. That's why I try to come on here as much as I can and show y'all love and show y'all and give back to you guys as much as I can. Whether that's through the lives, the YouTube videos, the freaking huge discounts on my website that you can honestly take advantage of right now. 60% off right now. All courses, all markdown bundle packages is an amazing sale. It's basically Black Friday all over again. I haven't been on here every single day like I was for No Days Off November. Needed to get some other stuff taken care of behind the scenes, but we're going to do 12 days to Christmas starting on Tuesday. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that, whether it's me right here talking to you guys or some other little stuff that I might have planned out for you. So 12 days to Christmas is going to be a lot of fun. I hope that I see you guys here. So make sure you put on you turn on your bell notifications, because as soon as I go live, I need you guys here to interact, because we're going to be doing some different stuff, and I'm really excited about it. Coach, my parents don't let me eat red meat, so I'm wondering, where do I get my iron and protein? Man, that's something that you're gonna have to, do your research on, man. I mean, I eat red meat myself personally, so you can get protein from many sources, from chicken, salmon, uh, you know, ground turkey, egg whites, a lot of stuff of that nature. So you don't need red meat to get protein. You can get protein, lean sources of protein from, chicken breast. You don't even need to eat the dark meat. You know what I mean? So protein's not the issue. Iron, I'm sure you can get iron from different things. You might be able to get iron from, I'm not really sure where you get iron from off the top of my head, but there's a lot of sources, man. Just do your research, man. Eating red meat's not the end of the world. If anything, it might be a good thing that you don't eat too much of it. If you don't eat any of it, man, I'm not really a nutritionist as far as like the whole vegan, red meat, and all that stuff goes. That's really not my thing. I do understand nutrition as far as getting weight off and gaining weight and building muscle and and those things. But as far as the protein goes, that's going to be easy for you. And the iron, it shouldn't be hard either, man. I'm sure. I mean, use something called Google, and you can probably just Google it. It'll be easy. Matter of fact, I got the perfect person for you right here. Hold on. 1, 2, and Fast Eddie Chambers, the one and only, the fastest human being that ever walked the face of the earth, is now on live. What's going on, baby?
Not much. Just relaxing. Just finished watching that Lomo fight.
Before we talk about that, I'm gonna give my man China Man a little bit. You're the perfect person to answer this question because you're a vegan. Where does he get his iron and protein from, considering he doesn't eat red meat? Now, he's not a vegan, but he doesn't eat red meat because his parents won't let him. Me personally, I told him getting protein is not an issue. I'm not sure as far as the whole iron thing goes. I'm not really like.
I mean, they talk about this, the iron supplements and all that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I just got to look into it honestly right now at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not,
I'm sure I could Google it right now. This is the beauty of Google.
You don't got to be an expert on none of that stuff. You just be able to Google real quick.
Don't you get iron and stuff from like beans and stuff like that? Or I'm not sure.
I know beans have protein, as well as, I'm not gonna say the word, different like cashews. All right, I'm gonna say the word, but I'm gonna say pause. Nuts. Okay, pause. But you get protein from those. There's also green veggies that have protein in it, that have a certain amount of protein as well. It's not the same kind of protein as obviously animal protein, but it's protein nevertheless. And you don't get some of the issues that you get from eating meat with those kind of proteins. So beans are a little rough, can be rough on the body depending on which ones you have.
A quick answer: soybeans gives you one way to do it. I knew beans had something to do with it. Clams,
right? But
clams is another one. Hold on. Spinach, another
that's
one.
That's what I said. Yeah, definitely.
Hold on. This is real easy, champ. Like, I want to show you how you can make your life easier. Mussels, okay? Let's keep it going. Spirulina. whatever that
Spirulina
is.
is high concentrated protein. Spirulina. Yeah, I used to
Lentils,
mess with it.
like beans in a way, right? Lentils, like chickpeas or whatever.
Yeah.
Oysters. I mean, listen, dude, it's not hard to get this food. All you gotta do is a little bit of research. And protein, like I said before, if you're not a vegan and you're able to eat lean protein sources, you can have chicken breast, you can have fish, you can
Mm-hmm.
have ground turkey, you can have egg whites. Lean protein is not really a hard thing to get if you're eating actual animal products. Now, if you're going a vegan route, I'm sure Eddie can give you some more insight on how to get protein from vegan sources, more vegetable
You
sources, and
you
supplementation.
you brought up a couple when we were talking, when you were just running off some. So those are real high quality protein ones. Like I said, a lot of green leafy vegetables does have, not a lot, but certain green leafy vegetables have protein in it. So, you'd be surprised while you're eating that, you're actually getting some protein. Believe it or not, most people think, oh man, I gotta eat, steak and I gotta eat chicken, I gotta eat fish and all that stuff. But there's a lot of protein and different things other than just meats.
Right. So let's go ahead and move on, man. We'll talk about more of this stuff. So on countdown to Christmas, 12 days to Christmas. Eddie, I already told the people I'm doing something called 12 days to Christmas, hoping to get you on as much as possible. I know that you got a busy schedule, and I'm not going to say that you're going to be there every day, but we're going to try to get you on as much as possible, whether it's conversations like this or it's something else that I don't want to talk about just yet. But there's going to be a lot of stuff, guys. So make sure you guys are on, especially if you want to get some of that fast Eddie Chambers education. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he brings so much to the channel with his expertise, 20 years of professional boxing, working with fighters and trainers at all levels. So it's always a pleasure to have you. What did you see tonight in the Lomachenko fight?
Man, honestly, I know we had a little talk about it off the live and whether you a fan of it or not, but I gotta say, man, it's just his attention to detail, not just his ability to move and use angles, but attention to detail is just how he does certain things that I see, certain things that I do or like to do. Some of it maybe I lack the ability to move as fast as he does, but I guess in heavyweight division it's kind of pound for pound similar. But it's just there's never a lazy moment for him. Every movement he makes, I feel like is he's thinking of. It's accounted for. You know what I mean? He's not wasting movement as you would think. Some of the stuff that he's doing is wasted movement. I think it's all in an effort to get the best shot off as possible and to make sure he's clean defensively too. Like you'll see periodically shots will kind of graze him, get close. You know what I mean? But he's really, really like it's down to like the cellular level. You know what I mean? How he breaks down some of the movements of the guy he's fighting. So I feel like Richard Commey, man, he was swimming in concrete. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a lot he could do. You know what I mean? His hands were tied. It was just like eventually, and when you're swimming in concrete, as soon as that shit hardens, it's over. You ain't moving nowhere. And that's exactly what it looked like with him. He just he was fighting an uphill battle from the beginning, but as the fight wore on, it was just like he was literally throwing punches at nothing. It was like he was shadowboxing at times. And even though some of the punches were landing on his arms and all of that, you know what I mean? It's just like he never really gained a real significant any kind of advantage. There was no advantage in any position that he might have even seemed like some of the things he might have been doing that you were watching that he almost landed that. But see, I think that's set up. I think that's, where he put himself in position to seem like he was going to be available to get caught with a shot in that position, let him throw the punch. And, it's just a lot of what this dude does, man. I swear there's a lot of science to it, man. I mean, a lot of his game is really, I don't say flawless. There's mistakes everybody makes out every now and again, but I feel like he's really calculated. He's one of the best thinkers, not only just fighters, in the boxing today.
Well, the first thing I noticed about him tonight was, and I've noticed this in the past, but it stood out to me tonight, his approach on keeping you on the defense off of feints.
Mm-hmm.
He's constantly staying. He's very active, right? He's constantly giving you
Mm-hmm.
something, not necessarily the way I just demonstrated it, because I like to fight more in this kind of a position. But with him, it's kind of like he's always slipping over his lead side. He's always giving you
Right.
something with the body to
Yeah.
prevent from wanting to punch, which you could tell in turn is setting up some of his traps, which some of his favorite moves is to slip outside and spin you. It seems to be his go-to move, and it seems
Right.
like everything is to set that up at some point. And once he gets that move on you, he has a great advantage. And
Mm-hmm.
he looks very good in that aspect. I think technically he's a fantastic fighter. I just think that stylistically he's not my favorite fighter. But I think
Yeah.
that if you talk about IQ and what he's trying to accomplish, he is very aware of what he's trying to accomplish, and he's working on it throughout the fight. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, listen, you can't win as many fights as he did as an amateur, come into the pro game and do what he's done in limited fights if you're not one of the best. So, I mean, you got to give him his flowers. You know what I mean?
100%. You know
Now,
what I
now,
mean?
Richard Commey to me, uh, I was having this conversation with my friend Billy Briscoe. Big shout out to Billy. I don't know if Billy's watching this or not. Billy Briscoe, one of the great boxing minds that we talk to on a regular basis, and he basically just said it as simple as Richard Commey was just outgunned. There was really
Yeah.
nothing he could do. Like I don't really see anything that he could have done in the fight. Like he was just outclassed. Really, is
Yeah.
what the word he used.
Yeah. Yeah. He was in a, like I said, he's in a situation where his hands were tied. He could go out there and throw punches, but you know what I mean? And he just really didn't have a way. You know what I mean? He's skilled as he could be, I guess. As a fighter as he is, he's reached his, I think, skill potential. I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe he works with a certain trainer that can help, maybe add a couple things to his game. But I don't think he'll ever have what it takes to beat a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's really certain things you have, strengths you have that it'll just never happen for you. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say that when he accepted this fight. You know what I'm saying? To take this fight, I mean, it was like a shot in the dark. You know what I mean? But you got to take it. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Say you get lucky and land that big right hand. Who knows? You know what I mean? It can happen, but it's very, very, very unlikely. It's less than 1% that that's going to happen for you in this fight because of the
Well,
way this dude plays the game, huh?
what the old saying goes, the fight was lost when he signed the contract. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
real shit. Yeah, it's just that way. It's tough, man.
he had a chance. Now, what did you feel about Lomachenko when he hurt him in that seventh round and he kept looking over to the corner, telling the corner to stop the fight? But Richard Commey's corner obviously did not listen to him, and he ended up finishing the fight. And that was 5 rounds prior to round 12. What was your thought? Should he have been that concerned, or uh, is that not his business as a fighter? He should just be focusing on finishing the fight himself.
Yeah, but I feel like in those situations, like I've had a situation like that before where I was saying it to the ref, not necessarily the corner. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, man, in this shit, there wasn't nothing he was going to do. He was done. His eye was swollen shut. Probably messed up his orbital bone. His eardrums was busted. You know what I mean? He was all jacked up. He could barely even throw a punch, let alone see out of 2 eyes. And the kid couldn't beat me with 2 eyes, so he got one. He's already tired. He ain't making it to the 12. Why is he still fighting? So I mean, that situation, yes. And this, as good as Lomachenko is, and as much as he could have done, he could have stopped him at any point. I felt like after that happened and they didn't stop the fight, he kind of just dropped it back down a couple gears lower. You know what I mean? And just didn't really try to take him out until like the last, I don't know, 30 seconds of the fight just to see if he could do it. You know what I mean? I don't really think he was worried about whether he was going to go to decision or knockout. You know what I mean? He just feels like he just wants to win fights. He's not even fighting this guy, essentially. I mean, obviously he's fighting this guy. He's in the ring with him, but he's fighting to get to a certain point. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's looking past him, but he's using it for what it is. And whether he was like, oh, I'm gonna knock him out, or guys, I'm gonna knock him out in the first round and all. He's just out there trying to win. And if you feel like it can get him out of there at that point, it's fine. If not, he can get a couple more rounds in, get some more work, even better. And I feel like that's what the situation was there in there with him. Comey's a tough guy. he was going to stand in there no matter what. But sometimes you could be too tough for your own, too tough for your own good. And we got brave corners out there. I'm not saying that they were one, but we got brave corners out there that'll keep our guy in there getting beat up on, and all of a sudden at the end of the fight, he falls out. And then he's in a situation where he's almost in a vegetative state. It's like, why do that when you don't have to? You know what I mean? I understand there are moral victories and going the distance, but wouldn't you rather still be alive? You know what I mean? Things like that can happen. It only takes one. You know what I mean? Let alone like what Lomachenko's landing, maybe 10 or 15 shots. You know what I'm saying? He already got caught with a nasty shot in the 7th. So it's like sometimes you got to think about the fighter. You know what I mean? A little more. And I mean, he stood in there, but I do think it was because Lomachenko kind of took off the gas, left the gas a little.
I just got a random thought in my head. Now, this is just some fantasy thought, all right? But I just made it up in my head. Remember, did you ever play handball?
I seen it, but I ain't never really played.
So, we played handball all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I guess you could do it in basketball too, where it's like a 7-sip shutout, 11.
Yeah.
So should there be some sort of a boxing rule? Like if you've already lost 7 rounds and you're not being competitive at all, we're just gonna cap it right here. So now it forces the fighters that are losing to step on the gas sooner. So therefore, they're not just fighting to make it to the end of the fight. Say, listen, this fight has a 7-sip shutout, so we're gonna give you 7 rounds to win a round. If you don't win 1 round by round 7, you got to get out of the ring. You're out of here. Now,
I'll tell you what that.
Or you have to be in such a strong physical condition, which is a case by case, where you're so in the fight where there has to be, you think what I'm trying to say? So now, I think fight. I don't need to see any more. You've been dominated for 7 rounds.
I like that for a couple, like for one reason in particular I'm going to mention is that it's going to make the fight more exciting, 100%, because guys who, if they really, really want to win, you'll see them pick that pace up. Even if they're fighting a battle that they can't win, kind of like this Richard Commey situation. Like he's going to have to turn it up, otherwise he's getting stopped. You know what I mean? And just to go the distance, just to be involved in a fight, it's just like, I mean, be competitive in a fight. That's a moral victory for a lot of guys, especially guys who don't or aren't expected to win. You know what I mean? Like Richard Commey wasn't. So yeah, like I actually don't mind that. That's a good incentive to say, okay, you better pick the pace up. You can't just be sitting in there defending all night and not trying to win, because if that's the case, then you're gonna be put out at 7.
Right, and
I like it.
Yeah, I think that a 7-sip shutout is fair. You're getting 7 rounds to win a round.
That's true, and it can save guys who were a little, or corner, and like I said, guy got brave corner. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that should be definitely something. I don't say definitely. I mean, we don't know how how it would be implemented necessarily. I mean, I guess you could just 7 rounds if you ain't on a board, or if you're not really being competitive. Even if you win 1, we still not letting you go to the end. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that could work.
It definitely sucks for the puncher who wants to try to knock you out the whole fight.
I tell you, I tell you what, Deontay Wilder wouldn't like that shit, because there's been a couple times he's been in fights where I felt like he could have easily been shut out, and then all of a sudden land a shot like down, like even with Ortiz, he probably wasn't necessarily shutting out. Got shut out, but he was definitely down, like to a point where another round or two he would have needed a knockout to win in my scorecard, and then he would knock out, like he knocked out Ortiz and a couple other guys, even like Spilka. I'm not saying that he was getting shut out by Spilka, but he was down, I feel like, in that fight too before he caught him. So yeah, I mean, certain guys, like you said, a puncher like that might be like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are gonna hate it because they're based off punching. That's why I said maybe they could the rules, like if you are losing 7 rounds, but you're not taking obliviated punishment, then so there has to be like what if you're a guy who's losing, but you're not really getting hit, right? You're riding with the shots, you're trying to get closer and closer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like if you're getting shut out, right, and it just looks like there's really no way of you winning, but it's still there's still competitive spirit. You ain't been dropped, you ain't been beat up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like, in those that you still got the green light to go. But if you getting battered, not battered, but even if a guy's not a big puncher and he's just putting gloves on you all night, you starting to swell up, you got cut, you're just not gonna win, and it's not really worth you getting beat up on anymore. For example, like a Ruslan Provodnikov, like there's a picture that I seen of him. Like I don't know if I had pictures, I think on one of my Facebook or something, where his face is just mangled. It looks ridiculous. Like somebody literally took a machete and was just, you know what I'm saying, beating this shit up. And it's like a situation where you're getting beat up, even though you're a puncher like that, and you're just not gonna land the shot. You're not. We know you're not. You don't have the necessary tools to get it off against this particular fighter. I think that one should be stopped too, because it's almost like even if we know he's gonna answer the final bell, and I do understand that there's like a moral victory in it, but just taking that punishment, eventually your chin's gonna give. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if that rule is implemented, it'll probably shorten up some of these crazy fights like that too. Well, and save some of these fighters too.
I think it'll save fighters. I think it'll put some adrenaline in some of these fighters. Like I just think that if you're in the ring and you're not trying to win, then you should no longer be in the ring. Point blank, period. I respect any man who gets in that ring, but at some point, that's as far as it goes. I respect you for getting in, but if you ain't trying to win, then what are we really doing here? You're just risking your life for no reason. You're not trying to win the fight. You're wasting everybody's time, so to speak. So I just feel that if you're here to win, then put the pedal to the metal and let's fucking go. You're here to win. And I just think that it would actually probably cause some more exciting fights, because guys are going to step it up now because they want to at least win around so they can keep going. You know what I mean?
They want to have a chance. Yeah, especially like I said, like you saying, punchers. You know what I mean? And it's going to turn the heat up.
Yeah, we gotta get Eddie a professional setup. Eddie Chambers is the most. Can't even hear you right now.
Can't hear me?
Yo, you sound mad far.
My bad. How about now? You good?
Now you're back.
Yeah,
man. So ladies and gentlemen, man, let's do a quick Q&A with Eddie on here before we get out of here. We're gonna keep this short tonight because Eddie, we're doing 12 days to Christmas, and we're gonna talk some really good talk. We're gonna bring you on. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. I want to save some of this. I'm in a holiday spirit. We're gonna be doing something different. So, guys, if you guys appreciate what we're doing here on the channel, make sure you hit the bell notification and make sure you're notified when we go live so you can participate live on what we're doing, because some of you guys might not have that blessing due to the time, and you're gonna watch this late and it's still gonna be educational, but it's gonna be doper if you're on here live, because you're gonna actually be able to interact. And as you guys know, we try to interact with everybody on the channel. You know what I mean? Eddie's getting blown up over here. I don't know what Eddie got going on, but I try to interact with you guys like we're all in one room for real. You know what I mean? Obviously, I can't answer every single question, but we're gonna answer as many as possible. Eddie is all banged up over here. Let me kick you, Eddie. Come back in here when you get a chance. I'm gonna have to kick Eddie out for a second, man. He's got a lot going on. That's a busy guy. But yeah, man, we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun, man. All right, here we go.
My bad.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead. We're gonna do some quick Q&A, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, you guys ain't gonna want to miss the Q&As that we do for the 12 days to Christmas, starting on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, mark your calendars. Eddie, are you ready for this? Are you ready for
I'm,
the countdown? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. All right, first question. Eddie, you coming out of retirement?
The right situation comes up. Ain't no and it's like I've never officially announced any retirement or anything like that. I'm still in my mind considering, active.
Would you ever announce your retirement? Because you seem like the type of guy that'll just slide off into the sunset. Like,
I mean, like it's not a big deal at this point. No, we're into a different generation now. You know what I mean? From where I was like popular. So it's like now, if I did, they're gonna be like, who? You know what I'm saying? Basically, who announced their retirement? So it's like, at the end of the day, and I don't want to say most fighters, but a lot of fighters, non-Hall of Fame guys like myself, won't.
You'll
It's
be a
not.
Hall of Famer in Pittsburgh, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain places I'll be Hall of Fame. I'll be probably PA. PA. Yeah, well, PA told the whole state. You know what I mean? I'll probably be in there, but
PA Hall of. So you're a Hall of Famer. You're just maybe not.
not international boxing. You know what I mean? I'm ranking that. I'm rating that. I'm not saying that I'm not rating. Hey, look, it's just nice to be thought of at that level. Period. You know what I mean? At any point in sports. You know what I mean? So yeah, but
you still got a chance to go to the Hall of Fame, though. If you go ahead and come out of retirement and do something special.
Honestly, it won't. And believe it or not, it won't really take as much as you think. You know what I mean? Already with a decent resume, no world title, but could you imagine all of a sudden coming out of nowhere winning all 4 titles just out of nowhere? I mean, it especially at an advanced age, quote unquote. It's a big thing. I thought of it. How realistic that is. I mean, if this was a video game, possibly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know because it's all in how your mind is too. And if you're really, really 100% mentally dedicated to what you need to accomplish. At one point in my life, this is all I thought about. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I was in love with it, but it's all I thought about. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to accomplish as much as I could, for as long as I could. You know what I mean? And it was like, yeah, this is nice. I like seeing my name, one of the top names in the world, right next to champions and being thought of in the same breath as the, world title guys like Klitschko and, Povetkin and all of these dudes that I fought with. It's nice. It's something to really, really, look back on when you're done and really be proud of. But, I don't know. We'll see. It would be nice. It would be nice to come back and do something special. But if it doesn't happen, I can come back on one of these little Triller things and maybe I have fun with that,
All right. Red Carpet, when you gonna do the next Q&A? Red Carpet just answered that. Make sure you turn the bell notifications on for Tuesday, starting Tuesday. But turn them on now, because sometimes I go live randomly. I might go live on Monday, Sunday to remind you guys. So make sure you guys turn that bell notifications on, because we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be super educational. Let's see here. The Thunder. Salute Anthony Brother Blue. Could use non-brothers like yourself to start a January and July biannual podcast boxing report card. Please give him a call. It's needed. Email me at caboxingtrainer@gmail.com. Give me some more information on this. The Thunder. I appreciate you. Yo, Coach and Eddie, who do you think is the best 130 to 135 pounder right now?
That's a good question. There's a lot of good names out there, man.
That's a difficult question, to be honest, man.
That's a great question. Yeah, I think it's all about what you like. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of flavors out there. Pause for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you look, I'm a Lomachenko. I like his game, man. He got a lot of shit with him. You know what I mean? He got a lot of things that I like as a fighter. You know what I mean? I like to see. Got the footwork, but it's the thinking for me. You know what I mean? It's knowing where to be. It's understanding. It's like he's always in control, even if it seems like he's not. He's always in control. And obviously, there's Shakur. I really like Shakur, but I think of everybody, the most dangerous one, aside from Lomachenko, I mean, I think is Tank. Tank is the one that I feel like can change the fight. Just on one, and he has the skill too to box, and to win fights, even on the back foot if he needs to. He still got some proving to do. You know what I mean? I still think there's still some other guys that he need to get out there and get with. I think all of the top guys need to get out there and square up with each other. But if I got to pick one from Lomachenko and him, I mean, Lomachenko's a little out of his weight class, but I still think his high technical ability, no pun intended, is probably I feel like that at the end of the day, if you talk about a 12-round fight, he's gonna be there all night, and it's gonna be really hard to put your hands on. And land something that is actually gonna make a difference. So even with Tank's power and explosiveness, I just think it's gonna be difficult for him, man. Even with Lomachenko at this stage, it's gonna be really difficult to get that shot that he really wants on Lomachenko. So right now, if I had to pick one at this point in their careers, whether Lomachenko is going to be going down soon or not, I still think he's probably the leading candidate for the guy who's, I feel like, who will be above them all at that weight, at those weights.
Yeah, for me, I'm right now. I really got my eyes on Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney has a fantastic boxing skill set. I think very underrated. I think people are really, really sleeping on Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney.
They are?
Yeah, people are like they're for him to be like a knockout puncher and shit. And they're like, listen, he looked really, really good last week against Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz is no fucking slouch. He's a good fighter. And Devin Haney did very well. Devin Haney has a hell of a jab. He has great footwork. He's tall, which gives issues for all them guys at 135 because, for one, he's freaking taller than these guys, and he knows how to use his reach, and he's not shy with punches. He actually lets his hands go. My only question is, how does he handle a punch from Tank? If he can handle a punch from Tank, I think he beats Tank. If he doesn't handle a punch from Tank, yeah, because Tank doesn't let his hands go. Eddie. I mean, Tank has a tendency of not punching. And a guy like Haney with that long reach, a good jab, putting them 1-2s and circling them, I could see Tank running behind on the card.
I feel like the only two guys I feel like they could beat Tank like that by decision would be Shakur and Lomachenko. I think Devin Haney takes too many unnecessary chances and gets caught with shots. And his defense is a little bit suspect in some areas. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's like both the guys he fought the last two major fights that he had. I don't know if there was any in between that I missed. I don't think so. With
Linares and
Linares and Jojo Diaz. And I know they're both really good fighters, obviously former champions, both of them, and one of them's a real good puncher. The other one's a really good fighter, Jojo Diaz. But they're catching him with shots. Like, even though his distance is good, and that's what saved him a lot of times in those, and he's a tough enough dude and skilled enough to kind of figure it out. He has world-class ability, but I think through the course of the fight, just different times, he's taking chances and throwing. His punch selection is good, but I feel like some of the time his punch selection is a little unnecessary. Some of the punches he'll throw, some of the combinations he throws, he puts himself in position to be hit on the back end. Sometimes he goes straight back a little bit, you know what I mean? Even though he's looking sometimes for counter punches, he's doing it, I think, at the wrong time. He gets hit with these shots. Like, even with if Jojo Diaz was a puncher, some of those shots he caught him with, you know what I mean? Like, if that was Tank, Devin wasn't getting out of them rounds because Tank would have got him out of there.
I mean, in theory, because you had a guy like the Mexican kid who fought Tank last week.
Yeah.
As a Bull Cruz, big shout out to him, who he basically shocked the world with his performance. A lot of people felt he won the fight. I'm not one of those people, but a lot of people felt he won the fight. He got hit a few times and he walked right through it. So in theory,
that's Isaac Cruz.
I know that. But I'm saying, in theory, you expect an outcome, but we don't know that that's the outcome. And my thing is that even though Tank is a hell of a fighter, I just think that Tank has a tendency of
Oh, yeah.
giving away rounds. He looked very
Yeah.
human against Isaac Cruz too, by the way, for the record. I mean, we've seen Tank look like the most dangerous guy in the division to look into like a human being last week. Devin Haney, you know, to me, just keeps getting better and better. So that's just my, like you said, there's a lot of flavors in the division.
Yeah. It's
I
what
think
you like.
Devin Haney is the underrated guy. I think Devin Haney's the guy who people are sleeping on, and I think he's gonna initially surprise people. Now, the only thing is with a guy like Shakur Stevenson, who has just a laser beam fucking focus, like that kid's focus is amazing. I can't pick anybody to beat Shakur Stevenson only because that kid reminds me of a focused Floyd Mayweather in his prime.
Yeah.
And it's hard to beat a kid. Yeah, it's hard to beat a guy who's just that in tune with what's happening in front of him. You know what I'm saying? And then he's so disciplined and not caring about what the crowd thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of guys are typically the hardest guys to beat. You know what I'm saying?
That's the difference. I feel like with him, that's why I said if there's going to be anybody, any two guys that's going to beat Tank by decision is going to last in the fight, it's going to be the two I mentioned. It's going to be Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko. I think Devin just puts himself in. I'm not underrating. I think he's one of the best skilled fighters in that area, in that space. Like, he's tough, he's nice, he's special, but he just gives people the opportunity too much. He can't do that with Tank. You know what I'm saying? And he's not going to be able to do that with Lomachenko either, because Lomachenko will end up, and it's going to be crazy because I know you're saying he's tall, but it's going to be a little bit of a shock to him that Lomachenko was able to get to him and get away from him seamlessly. And it's just like, what the hell is going on here? And then he's going to be quicker and he's off feet.
Lomachenko got hit tonight quite a few times by a guy who I don't think is as sharp as Devin Haney.
The shots that he got. See, the thing is, when I look at the shots he was taking, if you could slow that shit down, he probably was getting literally grazed, if at best. At best. Like, I think he wants to look vulnerable at times, wants to look in bad position so you can start to throw and get busier. Because think about the guys who he's fought that's literally quit in the first few rounds or the first 4 or 5 rounds of the fight. It was like he had like 4 guys that quit on him. And it's like, don't get me wrong, that's a win at the end of the day anyway. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like he may want to look a little more special. He might want to do a little more extra. But at the end of the day, I think for him, and like if he's fighting a guy like Haney, it's the shock. It's just like when he the last 6 rounds with or the last, I'll say the 5 rounds after the 6 in between, because I thought that Tio won the last round with Lomachenko, but it was like Teofimo was just shocked that he was still there, not only still there, but how easily he was able to land shots on him. You know what I'm saying? And how easily he was in position and had Teo out of position. You understand what I'm saying? It was just like, it's like, how the fuck is this guy here? You know what I mean? How is he able to get these positions on me? How am I pretty much know everything I need to know in boxing, but this dude is getting angles on me that he really shouldn't be at this point. You know what I mean? And it's the damn 10th, 11th round in the fight, and he's still looking like he got juice, when a lot of guys would probably be a little bit off, be more so off the gas. So I think with what he brings to the table, and it's an extended time with him, you understand what I'm saying? It's just, he's not, I'm not saying he's head and shoulders above at this point. You know what I mean? I like I said, I like Shakur. I do like Devin Haney's ability. He lost to Teofimo, so I guess he is human, but I still see him being the toughest puzzle to solve. In that space. Next to him would be Shakur, but Tank is the most dangerous, and I feel like
it's a very interesting division without a doubt. We got Lomachenko, who has a lot of experience. He does a lot of good things. We got Tank, who he's shown that he could box, but he also can hit you and knock you out with one shot. We got Shakur Stevenson, who's super disciplined, has a very laser beam focus when he fights. You got a guy like Devin Haney, who has immaculate footwork, good punches, good punch selection. Reminds me of a poor man's Floyd Mayweather in a sense. Like, he does a lot of, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but he does a lot of things that Floyd did, except he's not Floyd, right?
And he doesn't have a defensive awareness.
He's not Floyd, but he has moments where you're like, wow, that was beautiful. That was a Floyd Mayweather type of approach. And he lets his hands go, and he seems athletic, and he seems very determined to win. And I think he's just as good as anybody in the division. I think on any given day, whoever can basically stick to the game plan will win that night. So it's one of those divisions where all those guys are pretty much in one way or another evenly matched. Is about who can display what they do great that particular night. I think that if Devin Haney gets caught with a big shot versus Tank, he can get knocked out. But if he can keep Tank at the end of his jab and not get caught with anything crazy, he could win a decision. I think the same thing with Shakur, Lomachenko, all these guys. They can all beat each other. It's one of the rare times where everybody in the division is almost each other. You know what I'm saying? This is like this is actually a great era for lightweight boxing in reality. This is one of the most sharpest. Honestly, this era, those kids can probably go down in history with any era. When we go back and we look back in time, right? When we fast forward 10 years and we look back, we can actually say the Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, that era can match up with any era you could think of in lightweight history. I'm pretty sure we will say that eventually because all those kids are highly, highly talented fighters.
I agree 100%. This is a good time. Great time for in the lightweight division for sure. You know what I mean? I remember back when I think it was Corrales, Castillo, Casamayor, Acelino Freitas. There was a few other guys I can't remember. And this was like, this was a minute ago, though. This is a minute ago, and I remember they had like a nice little thing going on with all of them too. And it was like, it was a similar kind of situation. I don't necessarily think maybe they were as good as this crop, but at the time,
all them guys evenly matched. So what do you think about Jared Anderson? Big shout out to you, young underdog. Thank you for the super chat. What's your thoughts on Jared Anderson? Have you been watching him, the young, heavyweight prospect?
I like him. I like what I saw. The first fight. I didn't see him. I don't know if he had another fight, but I didn't see him since that fight. I think it was the Fury Wilder, and he looked good considering. I mean, he's not.
Somebody just said Jared Henderson is like the Eddie Chambers with the new generation of heavyweight size. I mean, he's literally is he the new Eddie Chambers?
I mean, he's like 6'4", but to them that's like 6'1" back when I was, I guess, which was not that long ago. But think about the size of these fucking guys.
That's crazy, y'all. That's how you know Eddie's a monster. If Eddie was to fight Jared Anderson, he would still be the smaller guy against Jared Anderson.
100%.
And everybody Jared Anderson like a smaller heavyweight. Eddie Chambers literally would be the smaller guy in that fight, and he fought guys as tall as Klitschko, Devinchenko, and all these guys. Though, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, Eddie. It's crazy what you were able to accomplish, man. I don't know how the hell you did it, dude. Like you could write a book on how to be the smaller guy in the ring and still be successful. You know what I'm saying?
And be the underdog at the same time. Think about all that shit. And and nobody's gonna nobody cares. You know what I mean? That you're going through. It's like a man. Think anybody cares you got any mental issues as a man? You better suck that shit up and fucking keep moving, boy.
You ever seen when Chris Rock was like, nobody cared about the man. He was like, you see a poor man with a dog, you feel bad for the dog.
Like fuck the guy. Like get up and work, motherfucker. That's the same thing they looking at me at 6'1" fighting these 7-footers and shit. They're like, nobody give a shit about Eddie Chambers. If you win, motherfucker, and if you win, then we'll care about you after that. But right now, we don't give a shit about you. That's just the way it is. I can complain all day about being undersized, or I can go out there and kick some of these big dudes' asses. I guess I just went in and tried to kick their asses. You know what I mean? That's all I could do.
And on how to box on the outside course that we dropped. And guys, don't forget we got the holiday sales, the holiday deals, 60% off all the courses. We actually talked about how you could be the smaller guy and control the outside on how to box on the outside course. That was one of my favorite segments of that course. If you guys don't got that course, I highly suggest you pick it up right now. So 60% off, Eddie. I basically extended Black Friday, not as good because Black Friday was special, but
Right.
60% off, Eddie. This shit's crazy, dude. What I'm giving away for the people right now. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully
How
they
nice
can.
of a guy.
Yeah,
Christmas
I know,
spirit,
I know.
man.
I know in your mind, you're saying to yourself, why the hell you doing it for that cheap motherfucker? Like, that's a lot of information we put in. But listen, man, you know, the goal right now, Eddie, is to take over. You know what I mean? We the new Teofimo Lopez, the takeover. We're looking to spread the knowledge to as many people as possible. We want people to know
100%.
that we are giving the best information on the internet, hands down. I put that up against any boxing coach on the internet right now. You got one, name him, we'll go to war. We'll go toe to toe. We could do that if you want. You know what I'm saying? Because, Eddie, we are bringing some real world-class information. Don't forget to turn the bell notification on your YouTube channel, Facebook, whatever, because we're going to be doing 12 Days to Christmas, and that's going to be very educational. It's basically going to be Q&As mixed up with some other special stuff that I got going on. We're going to count down to the holidays the right way. And, of course, if you don't celebrate Christmas, I still want you to pull up. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you guys pull up to it. You don't have to be a Santa Claus guy. You're right. This is just a holiday promo to get you to pull up, hang out with us, talk box, and do Q&A. Get to learn from me. Get to learn from Fast Eddie Chambers. Let me go ahead and drop a few more questions in here, Eddie, before we pull up out of here. We're going to keep this nice, short, and sweet because we need y'all to come back. We can't keep giving them all the game in one day, Eddie.
Yeah,
like, yo,
it's gotta be.
I was doing 3-4 hour lives on No Days Off November. You wasn't even here for some of that, bro. Yo, 4-hour lives, Eddie. Like, there's so much game,
bro.
So much game was given out on No Days November that, like, is unbelievable. Like, anybody who partaked in that they were just like grabbing it all up, like stealing all the gems and running it off with it. Like, but it's all good because what's the old saying? Each one teach one, right? We learn something, we pass it on. They learn something, they can pass it on. Maybe they were looking at it from a different viewpoint, and now they look at it from our viewpoint. And I'm hoping you guys understand our viewpoint when it comes to the sweet science. Let's see right here. Let's see, champ. My man Frank J, Coach and Eddie are the truth, man. I appreciate you, my brother, man. I really do, man. Copes, I'm just gonna say Copes. I don't know how to say your last name. Coape, I guess. No disrespect. Coach Anthony, I've been boxing for 1 year and I just started sparring and plan to have my first amateur fight next year. I'm 6'3". Any tips on sparring for intermediate level? Well, for me, typically, man, the only tips I can say is listen to your coach. Your coach should be guiding you the right way. You should be sparring guys that are on your level. Don't fight. Work on what needs to be worked on. And that's typically what your coach is for, right? Maybe you need to work on your jab. Your coach will help you with your jab. Maybe if you need to work on some defensive tactics, your coach will help you with your defense. Sparring is learning. Sparring is not fighting. Remember that, guys. A lot of you guys need to know that. A lot of you guys think that, you're going to be the best fighter in the gym and you're going to walk around with a gym title. None of that matters what happens in the gym. I mean, it's all about learning. This is school. This is education. And if you're not learning in the gym, then you're not going to be able to apply anything you want to fight. Anything you want to add to that, Eddie?
100%. I mean, when, you're not, like you say, you're not going to be the champion at the gym. That means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. If you want to continue to get better and you want to continue to ascend to the top of the game, and you're not going to do that by trying to be the best of your area. You know what I mean? Trying to be the best you can be. To take yourself to the highest level that you can grasp. You know what I mean? So the idea would be, like you said, like I agree with what Ann was saying. Basically, listen to your trainer. You know what I mean? And especially, and then if you have time and the ability to maybe purchase one of the courses or whatever, get some info off of that. Fighting from the outside would be real good for you since you're 6'3". It just depends on what weight class you in. You know what I mean? Because if you're a heavyweight, you still be fighting on the inside. But right now at this point, it's just about getting the basics down pat. You know what I mean? Learn how to use that jab properly. Learn just basic footwork. And try to it, and you don't want to get. I really, what I would like to also say to a lot of these guys is don't try to do too much the first time. You know what I mean? Don't try to do too much in the beginning anyway. One of the things that I did, and my dad is stressed to me, is just basics. basics. It wasn't like I did any of that fancy shit early on because he wouldn't have allowed it. He'd have put the gloves on and jumped in the ring with me. You know what I mean? That's just how he was. So focus on the basics. All of these fancy things that you see with the Philly shell and all of these different defenses and counter shots and stuff like that comes off of that. You know what I mean? And once you get to a certain point, you'll start to see those things shine through.
Absolutely, Eddie. I couldn't agree with you more, guys. And that's a point that I wanted to touch on about the courses. You know, obviously the courses are a great thing for you guys to get, and I obviously push them all the time because we want you to be educated. But if you're in a gym with a coach, you want to listen to your coach first. The courses is then something that you add on to your boxing IQ. I tell a lot of guys all the time, when you get these courses, you don't have to like do anything. You could just watch it. You know, I can't tell you how many times I learned from just watching something and just letting it soak into my subconscious brain. You know, you watch it, you start to understand. And then what happens is when your coach asks for something, you might actually recognize it and say, I get it now. I see what happened when you were, you know, I used to teach guys certain things and then I'll make them watch a film of somebody and they'll apply it in a fight and then they'll say, now I get it. You know, that's how I learned. You know, I used to get taught stuff by my coaches back in the day. I didn't know what the hell they really meant until I watched the fight. And I'm like, yo, that's the move. That's the exact same move. And my eyes would light up like, oh my God, okay. And now I believe in it because I've seen it applied in a real fight or whatever. You know what I mean? So just listen to your coach. The courses are fantastic for upping the boxing IQ. If you don't have a coach, then I highly recommend that you get the courses because now you're really going to get into a philosophy. Let's go ahead and let's see what Stephen James got to say. Yo, Coaching Fast Eddie, I have had bad experience slipping to the left. I've been blocking with my left and slipping to my right. Your thoughts? I'm trying to figure out.
Maybe that inside slip. That inside slip.
Yeah, that's slipping outside the right hand or inside the jab. It just depends.
Yeah.
I've been
it's like what I do.
But slipping to the right? Can you picture what he's saying right now, Eddie?
It's like blocking with his left and slipping to his right, to his right side, so his right foot. It's like what we would do most of the time was, it would be dropped, you know, in that situation. It's funny enough, though, I saw Lomachenko doing that today. That's stuff that I do, too. Like, if I'm going to the right, sometimes put my hand, because you're not always, and that's why I always like to say, if your hands are up, just by accident, a lot of times you'll block shots. And even if you slip a shot and you think you're in a good position, sometimes the guy just throws the punch, maybe wrong, maybe right. And he just might catch you in that position if your hand's not up. So I said, sometimes when you slip shots, I feel like your hands should be up a little. I know when I fought like Povetkin, I was slipping shots, but my hands were still up. You know what I mean? So, but you know, my thing is to slip to the left. I like slipping inside the jab. Like, I feel like I'm really comfortable with that. And I feel like a lot of times when a guy throws a jab at me and I'm slipping inside, most people will be like, oh man, you gotta be careful because the right hand will come right after it. But I feel like without the left hand touching me, it kind of they lose a little bit of confidence in throwing another shot because they missed that first one. And sometimes even if they did throw the right hand, I'm back on the other side and they're gonna miss with their right hand too because I'm slipping back over to the right.
I got one even better for you. If you slip this side, if you inside slip and the right hand comes, instead of slipping back,
you can just roll
further back. No, just keep going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could. You could do that too.
You're already here. You're lined up. I thought just go one more level.
Just keep going. Yeah. Look, you
could just be like, whoop, whoop, and just dip a little deeper than around them.
And that you know what's funny though? I feel like Lomachenko, he's a southpaw, so it's a little different. He's going to the left. But if he was orthodox, I imagine he'd probably do the same shit going to the left.
And when you're slipping with guys, you know, I'm not a big fan. I've talked about this in the past, like slipping like this and slipping like this. But if you slip like this, you can still move pretty mobile. But from right here, it takes no effort to bring the hand up. You know what I'm saying? If I slip
here, do it today.
Yeah, even though this hand is a little lower when I slip to my right, if something comes, it's nothing to do this. It's nothing to do this. It's nothing to do this. So it's just, I talk about that in my relaxed stance. I like these hands to be relaxed because when you understand the fundamentals, you could do this. You could do this from here, even though this hand is in front of the Y. So if I place it here, it's like a hybrid of a Philly shell and a hands up. Now I have the opportunity to turn it into a Philly, or I got the opportunity to bring it into a textbook. So from right here, just nice and relaxed, I can do both: block, shoulder roll, punch, up jab, straight jab, hooks. Everything is right there. Right or wrong, Eddie?
That's right. Yeah, I feel like
it's very relaxed.
Yeah, I feel like you need to be prepared to do anything necessary to defend. You know what I mean? So, hey, look, I was always taught to pick my left hand, like have my right hand up, catch a jab like that, 100%. But there may be times you're out of position, pick that left hand up. Shit, shield. Hey, look, the main focus is not to get hit in those situations. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So you might not have did it the prototypical way at that particular moment, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily wrong. You wouldn't do that first, but if you're in a position where it's necessary, then do it.
Absolutely. Peter Nieves, what up, cuz? Thank you, man. He said shout out to you, everybody. Big shout out to my cousin, professional fighter, Peter Nieves, the one and only New York City Golden Glove, multiple time champion fighter, bad boy, man. He was a bad boy, well respected. Guys, go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com, and get the CA Holiday Deal 60% off all the courses. I'm gonna chop it early. I know you guys want to keep talking. I know you guys want to keep going. But we're doing 12 days to Christmas starting on Tuesday. So y'all gonna have more than enough time to chop it up with Eddie and I. So we need y'all to come back for some more. Listen, if you don't put the notifications on, you're not gonna know when we're gonna log on. It's probably gonna be later in the day. It's probably gonna be what we were doing for No Days Off November, which was around 10 p.m. Eastern time. Right, Eddie? That's the time that probably works for you and I both. So 10 p.m. Eastern time. So it's a little later in the day. So I do understand some of you guys might not be able to see it. So if you see it the next day, you're still going to get a lot of valuable information. So I don't want you guys to miss out on that. And I'm probably going to come on Monday to give an announcement of some special things that I'm going to be doing. So just turn the bell notifications on to cut you guys a whole lot of trouble. Press like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Make sure you go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. Get your 60% off. Stop playing with your education and go ahead and cop something. Eddie, man, I want to say thank you to you, man, for always being a team player, pulling up. Let's go ahead and look at some of your beautiful, beautiful skills real quick.
The receipt, as soon as he throws that pop, boom. Okay. When I'm throwing the cross, what makes me punch so effective is Now this is super advanced again, guys. This isn't for the beginners.
Yo, Eddie, that check hook, man, you throw like that pretty, but that thing was on the money. And then that little uppercut cross hook, the technique.
Yeah. That was kind of slow though.
I know when you watch some of these videos, man, you be saying to yourself, yo, I'm a bad mother. I ain't even gonna lie to myself, man.
I say this.
You better be here every day.
Yo, hey, listen, real shit. Gee, stop talking shit. But anyway, no, for real. It's like when I watch, like I'll sometimes watch legitimately watch videos and like, because you'll think, like, was they gassing me or was I really decent? You know what I mean? And I always felt in control when I was in the ring, with the exception of like certain fights where like Vladimir toward the end of the fight, I just felt like the fight was lost. You know what I mean? But most of my fights in my career, I've always felt like I was always the better guy. You know what I mean? Whether I was winning or losing, I still felt like I had the better game. You know what I'm saying? Like even with Vladimir, I felt like I had more than he had. He just had what he needed. So when I watch videos of some of those fights, I'm like, damn, I look pretty good. You know, not looking at the body necessarily, but the rest of it, I look pretty damn good. So, it's just, and I always say this, a lot of people people ask questions about confidence and all of that. And I'm like, yo, for a person like me who boxing was not my first choice, to be as good as I was with a low level of confidence just shows what you can be capable of if you're completely invested mentally, physically, and in every way possible. The sky could be the limit for you. I felt like with a limited amount of, not a limited amount of interest, because I had a high level of interest because I wanted to be the best I could be, but it just wasn't my favorite thing to do. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, man, I keep getting better and I'm just good at this shit. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. And, people tell me, sell out, man. Forget the rest of this shit, man. Just do this boxing, man. Take it seriously. Do what you need to do. Right before I fought St. Peter. And then when I did it, I did receive some benefits. I got to a world title. But my mind has never really been where it needed to be, where I felt like I could dominate the world. And I feel like regardless of my size, I still feel like I could have done amazing things in a division that most people would have thought I wouldn't been able to, but whatever.
No, you did amazing things, Eddie. You have to give yourself credit, but we're gonna save some of that, man. We can't give them all the mental talk, all that stuff.
doubt.
Just shit, bro. We got
not yet.
A piece. We're gonna talk a lot about the mental aspect of boxing. I do want to talk about that. I want to talk about confidence. I want to talk about overcoming hardships that you had to overcome. There's a lot of stuff that we can talk about in the next coming days. Tuesday is day 1 of count 12 days to Christmas. So, guys, I need you guys to all be here for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be on the lookout. You already know the vibes. CoachAnthonyBoxing.com, 60% off. Eddie, thank you for pulling up. Save it for that. And I'll see you guys in a couple of days.